Welcome to CITAM ChurchOnline. This is Jotham Munene from CITAM Mombasa, and we are going on with our series, God's Not Dead. Last time, we talked about the assertion by one Nietzsche that God is dead, and we said that far from it, God is very much alive. In fact, I was just thinking, in Europe itself, many of the political parties have a religious name, you know. You'll hear Christian party and so on and so forth. If we look at other parts of the world, the idea of God is major. If you look at Africa, many people believe in the supernatural. So even if this project was decided on, it never succeeded. So today, we'll talk about where did life come from? Welcome. There are several theories about where life came from. One is what was talked about a long time ago, something called spontaneous generation. That meant that life came from inert matter. You know, things that didn't have life, all of a sudden just sprang into life. This was basically debunked, especially by Louis Pasteur's experiments that showed that life is we are only able to see life coming out of life, right? A physician by the name of Rudolf Virchow said, omnis cellula est cellula. All cells come from cells. The other theory is a very interesting one that I've come across recently myself, called Panspermia. Now, this theory says that life on Earth came from microorganisms or even chemical precursors to life from outer space. Chemicals that have the ability to initiate life when they find conducive environment, like our Earth. But so that life was seeded, according to this theory, from outer space, from Mars, from other planets, from far into space, from other galaxies, or wherever it is. And there are several problems with that theory. One being that this is not something that has really been proven. And then there are people who are still trying to show that it was possible. One of the modern earliest people to talk about it was a physicist by the name of Hermann Picher. Now, all I'm going to say about Panspermia, which I find very interesting, and I know there's a lot of effort trying to show that may have been possible. It has not been proved. But even if it was possible, even if it was true that indeed life as we know it came from Jupiter or some other place, and it was seeded here, it still just postpones the question, where did life come from? If it came from Jupiter, where did Jupiter get it from? If it came from some other galaxy, where was it began, even in that galaxy? So the point is, we still have not answered where the first instance of life came from. Of course, another major discussion about the origin of life is Darwinian evolution. Darwinian evolution is from a naturalistic point of view, where God is not necessary and things just happen on their own. They are started with very simple life forms, which due to mutation, random mutation, which you can call accidents, these life forms continued adapting to their environment through natural selection, and therefore the life forms became increasingly complex up to where we are now, where we have Homo sapiens and so on. But it is still not answering the first question, where was the first element? I mean, let's agree for now, for argument's sake, that humans once came from chimpanzees, which came from, rabbits, which came from single-celled organisms. But even the first one, we are not yet told where it came from. There are still problems with Darwin, which we will discuss in the next video. But anyway, there is still a problem of where was the first, instance of life. Another theory is a religious one, which is known as reincarnation, with the religions from the East. And in this case, life forms come back. Once an animal is dead, it will come back in another form. So a human being today may, in the next life, come back as a zebra, or as a cow, or as a donkey, or it can come back as even a frog, or an amoeba, whatever it is. And that is a cyclic view of history, where things just keep going and going. And according to this theory, there is many reincarnations until the element or the life that has come through many life forms eventually is absorbed into the universe, into nirvana, into the real life that is there in the universe. Again, what was the source of the beginning of this cyclic movement? We are not being told. Also, scientific evidence seems to say that history is linear. There seems to be a point at which the universe started. There seems to be a point. Scientific data shows there is a point at which space-time began. The other view of the origin of life is creation, which, as you might guess, is what I believe in. And there are many people who are believers that are also scientists that do not see any conflict between scientific findings and there being a God, higher power, higher intelligence, somebody that is greater than humans. The Bible says in Genesis, actually the beginning of the Bible, in the beginning, God created. And then it is repeated in John chapter 1, verse 1. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was with God in the beginning. I know that is also not something that you can prove scientifically, because you cannot put God in a test tube. So we are left with two possibilities: that life originated without God's involvement, or two, life originated from God's initiation, from the creation by an all-knowing, all-powerful being that is called God. Both of these points of view require faith. I think it is more rational to believe in God as the source of life than to believe that it was just chance and billions of years and voila, life came from nothing. I think that it makes more sense to believe in a God. And in the next video, we'll discuss a few more things that help us to see this universe makes more sense from a theistic, in other words, a world where God exists, than where God does not exist. Again, like I said in the other video, even in our day, in this postmodern time, the majority of the world believe in a God. So Nietzsche, once again, God is not dead. God is alive. And he is the source of everything that we see or experience. Thank you for watching this video. It's been my pleasure to discuss this with you. Would like to hear some feedback from you through the social media platforms below there. We also invite you to like, to comment, and to share, and to subscribe. Thank you, and God bless you.